So what I learned when I wrote my first advertisement that worked, and when I started doing my first sales presentations that worked, is that there was a way of doing sales and marketing that when you did it, the client actually was grateful that you were doing it with them. See, I had always thought that salespeople and marketers were kind of this icky thing, and it was something to be ashamed of, and they were manipulative, and et cetera, et cetera. But then once I learned that there's actually a professional way, a conscious, intentional way, a high value way to do sales and marketing, and that when you did it that way, that the clients actually looked at you and said, "Thank you so much for having this conversation with me." Right? "Thank you so much for doing that marketing." I've had people walk up to me at my programs and say, "Thank you for doing all that marketing to get me here, because this is what I needed." Right? I needed to do that. Now, who was part of the expo? Right? Who was in the Coach Expo? Saw our launch. Okay, so a lot of the folks here. So there's a lot of sales and marketing that were going on in there. Who noticed that there's a lot of sales and marketing in that process? Did you notice that? Okay. Now, did everybody like the sales and marketing that was part of the expo? Did everybody like it that was there? Did all the thousands of people like it? No. Did some of the people bitch about it a little bit? Yep, some of them did. When you're doing anything in the mass kind of world, it's impossible to please everybody. Just look at what Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are going through right now. Right? So if you want to go big, you got to be controversial. In America here, we've got this, Joe Biden, Donald Trump situation. And I'll tell you what, neither of them is popular with everyone. Yeah, so it's part of the price. But here's the thing. Even the people who are like, "Oh, you're just selling and whatever, and so forth," most of them still stayed on. Why? Because the massive download of value that was coming. You got it? And at the end of the day, they're really appreciative, even if they had a little whine or a little complaint. It's kind of like raising children. Your kids whine and bitch and so forth, but they come back and they go, "Okay, thank you." Thank you for what you've done here. Yeah. Okay, so I want to kind of start with both of these premises, that there's a way to do it where the vast majority of people say thank you so much. And yes, you get a few of them that complain a little bit, but overall, the amount of value that you get to create in the world is so much greater when you do it this way. Okay, it's so much greater. Now, I want to share with you the secret to getting clients right now. Okay, this is it. This is the secret. This, if I sum everything up that I've learned about sales, marketing, doing presentations, doing sales pitches, cold calling, running ads, funnels, all that stuff, this is what it is. I think that subconsciously, most of us, we got some programming that if we ask another person to do something for us, or we ask another person to pay us, or we ask another person to give value to us, that we are somehow doing something that's selfish and unethical. Now, I've traced this back. I think that there's a lot of religious kind of cultural programming in this, and that there's a lot of shame that we have if we try to make things work for us at all. Okay, it's all about sacrifice, and it's all about having other people be important. It's all about not offending other people. So I think a lot of this is actually religious. Now, I'm not saying that religion is bad. I think that most of what we got from religion is beautiful wisdom traditions and so forth. And yet there's that dark side. There's that 20%, that can be negative as well. So I'm not speaking negative about religion, but what I am saying is that there's this heavy, heavy cultural burden where when we ask another person to do something for us, there's a shame, there's an embarrassment, there's a fear that we feel. So many amazing, wonderful people that have been through our programs that are great coaches, really conscious, intentional people. When it comes time to sit down and ask the person to sign up, to sign on the line that is dotted, and to give them money in exchange for coaching and helping them get the results in their life, they just get nervous. They feel embarrassed. They don't want to be rejected. They take it personally if the person says no. And this is very curious to me. See, I used to feel this way. I remember sat down at the phone. I couldn't even pick up the phone and call one person without getting sick and nervous. Then I learned how to overcome that. And I did it in a few different places in my life. And then I went on and studied it and have taught it. So I have the benefit of both perspectives now. Here's what I've learned. This is the most amazing, amazing thing. When I have asked people for the most money, okay, when I ask people for the most money for my programs, those are the people that appreciated and thanked and respected me the most. And ask any of the people that are doing this in the industry, and they'll tell you the same thing. I'll tell you another story. So my first really successful online business, I taught dating advice. And I wrote a book, and we had courses and seminars and so forth. And we taught dating advice to men and then also to women. And we had other teachers. And so I would have courses. We would sell courses and books that were anywhere from like $20, $30, $40 up to maybe a few $100s. That was kind of the price range. And I did that for years. And then I showed a bunch of people. They were asking me, my friends were asking me, how are you building this business that you're running from home and you're doing so well? And so I would, they'd take me to lunch and I'd share what was happening. And then some of them started businesses and they started taking off and, making a lot of money. And so many people started asking me, I said, well, maybe I should just do a program on this. And so in 2007, I did a program called Altitude. And instead of it being a few $100s to come to this, it was $10,000 for a ticket. Okay, so I did a 5-day, like high-end exclusive program. And we had 100 people that each paid $10,000. They flew in from 26 countries to be a part of this. And you know what? It was a completely new group of people. I didn't know hardly any of these people. They had just heard about my business, or I had marketing partners, had other people that were promoting it and so forth. And I was so nervous. I remember the night that I went to the welcome reception and everybody was there. And I was so nervous because I thought, these people are paying $10,000. What the hell are they going to expect from me? I worked so hard to create all the content and all the programming. And we made these beautiful workbooks and I just went overboard. And I walked in, to the reception, and I kind of stood up and I took a microphone. We were outside. And I remember being so nervous, like, these people are already going to be mad at me that they had to spend $10,000. And I went up there and I took the mic and I said, welcome everyone. And everyone started applauding and clapping for me. And I hadn't even talked to them yet. And they're cheering. And I said, whoa, what's going on here? Did somebody spike their, have they been drinking? Are these people crazy? What are they already clapping for me? And then I talked a little bit and I said, I'm really excited to have you. And then they all cheered. And I got down and I walked off and I went, oh, they're all happy and excited to be here. Huh. And then I went in and everybody was super engaged and they were all dressed professionally and it was an amazing program. It went incredible. And I walked out of that room with like 90 video testimonials after the event. And there was another total game changer for me. It was a total shift. And I went, wait a minute. The people that just paid me like 10 or 20 times as much as the other programs, they love me more. What's going on here? How is this possible? So how is it possible, everyone? How is this possible? That if people pay you more, that they would actually respect you and value you more. How could this even be possible? Go put it in the chat. How could this be? They have more invested. They have more skin in the game. It's the right people. They have a perception of greater value. They know value when they see it. Yeah, they're more committed. They're investing in themselves. They appreciate learning more. They're an attuned audience. They get more value. Yeah, they trust you. It's a different caliber. Yeah. Okay, great. Excellent. When I met Annie, she was just starting out as a coach. She had just moved to New York City, I don't know, a year or two or something before that. She'd quit her corporate career and just said, I need to follow my passion. And she had, I think, like 2 or 3 clients, and they were very on and off. And she would sell individual sessions of coaching. And I think it was $150. And she'd go meet the person in person live. And then she'd work with them for 2 or 3 hours to get, $150. And then she'd intermittently go and meet up with these folks. And, I and other great coaches that she knows, but recommended, honey, you need to start doing packages of coaching. So instead of just individual sessions, right, you sell a whole package of coaching and you have to raise your prices. And so she started steadily raising her prices. And over the years, right, she went from $150 to $250 to $300 to $500 to now, if you're one of Annie's clients, it's $5,000 a month to be one of her relationship coaching clients. She's one of the highest paid coaches that I know, and definitely one of the very highest paid relationship coaches. And I have met a lot of her clients. Some of them are our friends, some of them have become our friends. And I watch when she walks into a room, the old version of me, right? The one that got nervous at the cold calling, that version of me would have thought that she should be really careful going out to any social events, because probably what's going to happen is she's going to walk in and no one's going to want to talk to her because they're all paying her $5,000 a month. And therefore they're like, what are you doing? Like, you owe me something here. But guess what? That isn't what they do at all. When Annie walks into a room and several people who are her clients or have been her clients in there, they gravitate toward her. They look up to her. They follow her around like a kid hanging on her little coattails in a certain way. And they clamor for her attention. Think about Tony Robbins. Okay, he's the top coach in the world right now. To be a one-on-one Tony Robbins client is $1 million a year. That's what it used to be. I haven't even asked him lately if he still does this, but right? It's $1 million to be one client to get coached by Tony personally. If you walk into a room with Tony and you're paying him $100,000 for his high-end program or $1 million, are you going to be like mad at him or look down at him? No, he's your coach. Yeah, so people do. They value what they pay for. And the other side of this coin is that if you plan to work with really, elite, affluent clients, with the great clients that we all really want, these are people who understand value exchange. They don't want to work with someone who's embarrassed about getting paid. They want to work with someone who's a professional that they can get the quick down low, like, how does this work? How much do I invest? What am I going to have to do? What are the results I'm going to get? Let's work out the business stuff so that we can put that aside and get to helping me lose weight or find a romantic relationship or build my business. Do you get this, everyone? You get what I'm saying here? Okay. So it's really important that you get the transmission that when you are sitting in front of that really wonderful prospective client, they need you to value yourself and to be really clear about what you're going to help them do and what their investment is going to be.